Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for the main slate week 3, September 22nd. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. I think actually, yeah, somebody won the 10K in the mini max last week, but I didn't make a main slate video last week, but congrats again. That's really cool to win the SaberSim mini max challenge in addition to everything else. As always, we are sponsored by a PredictionStrike. You can use promo code PhD to get the best deposit match bonus there. No MMA this week, so I didn't do the MMA this week. Okay, so I don't always make a main slate video, but when I do, it's because I have a take. And today I got a take. I don't know what's going on with people. With the Joe Mixon thing. Everybody is projecting Cam Akers to be the starting quarterback or running back this week. Not clear why. Not clear why. Nobody said it. Nobody said that. Nobody has mentioned that. It's if you go by the official thing that the team publishes, Cam Akers is behind Dare and slightly ahead of British Brooks in their running back breakdown. Now, yes. Okay, so let's go through the so here's how the offensive coordinator talked about Joe Mixon before the season. Workhorse. He's an absolute workhorse in every regard. Now, let's see how he talked about okay, so this is the head coach talking about Cam Akers and how he fits in. We added Cam. We'll see if he can compete. Now, recently this week we had Slowick when asked about Cam Akers. He's really good at riding the wave, finding the right hole to hit. He always plays under control. When he sees it, he hits it. He finishes physically. He has really good contact balance. Now, I hear the word, yes, people say that. But what running back can you not say these things about, right? He's just giving, to me, compared to the way that he spoke about Joe Mixon, he is giving Cam Akers generic compliments because he's been asked directly about Cam Akers. Like, I've been asking him, yeah, whether or not we got any Dare questions. I just don't think anybody's ever asking Slowick about Dare at all because they don't want to say Ogunbowale or something or whatever. But I mean, look at how he was asked. Like, okay, the question was, how do you feel about having a veteran RB like Cam Akers step in if Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce are out? You can count on and rely on guys like that to get in and be ready to roll. Not saying he's a workhorse back. I bring this up because he is projected by SaberSim to be a workhorse back, right? Which was shocking to me. I was like, what's going on here? Like, what did I miss? I had to look around for a while to figure it out. He's projected for 14.8 fantasy points, right up here as the RB, like, what does that make him? RB 10, 12? What? On what planet? I mean, he might not be the RB1 on his team. I cannot see for sure that he is. I mean, yeah, the upside for Cam Akers in the past has been thought to be higher than the upside for Dare Ogunbowale in the past. However, they're paying Dare more. He's higher on the depth chart. From an asset management perspective, you would want him to give him the chance first. I don't get it. I don't project Cam Akers to be the starter. So these are the situations where I'm interested in playing some fantasy football. So here are my rules today as a result of a bunch of crazy stuff, which I mean, like, let's look at the snap counts, right? I was like, am I going crazy? No. Dare's out snapping him on a weekly basis. 2 weeks ago, I mean, maybe he was hurt. I'll have to look it up. Cam Akers DNP'd. Pierce played over him. Now that Pierce is hurt, yes, Cam Akers will play. Good for him. Probably. I mean, like, I might play British books out of him. He was fun. I like the way British plays. So I looked it up. I was like, am I missing something? So what happened right after in the game? Mixon got hurt. Yes, they went Akers and they just pounded the ball with Akers up the middle, Akers up the middle. Now they're up by 9 at this point, and notably, Akers loses a fumble at the end of this drive. The following drive. Want to know what happens? Is Akers back in there? No. Dare Ogunbowale up the middle. Dare up the middle. Punt. So when it was time to hold on to the ball in the very most recent part of the game, it was not Akers. So most recently, not the RB1, not the RB1 on the depth chart. Anyway, so I've placed a lot of bets. You can too. Currently, they've got a little bit of an error on underdog where you can go slightly more than his par odds Russian receiving yards and get 2% on the dollar. So do that. I've been taking a lot of the under 74.5 Russian receiving yards for Cam Akers and pairing it with the whole ladder of Dare's is a pretty good. I think you could go up to 40 and you get like 9x on a 40 receiving yards for Dare. I think they're going to run a bunch of. I mean, he's going to. What did Joe Mixon get last week out of the backfield? From Joe Mixon receiving 25 yards out of the backfield. That clears the 19.5. I'm just saying that's 4x for Dare, man. Like, what? Look at this. Last week already with Mixon there, Dare got 20 yards. I don't get it, man. I'm big on Dare this week, and yes, he's in my main slate like pool. So same deal with Cleveland. With Cleveland, we've got a split back situation, but one of them could run the other off the field. We've seen games where Deonta Foreman goes completely nuts. We've seen games where Jerome Ford goes completely nuts. They're like, I mean, a real bargain version of it, but you've got an Achane and Mostert thing going on there. So anyway, that's my one Cleveland running back rule. We've got a one Houston running back rule we've talked about. It will not surprise you that we still have the one Detroit running back rule, and I haven't boosted Monty because I think the range of outcomes for Monty is pretty well handled at this point. We've got a pretty good set of Monty, game logs or whatever. And then the other place where I got to take this week is what is going on with people, man? Like, can you like focus for 1 second and believe something? You know what I mean? Like 2 weeks ago, Isaiah Likely, best tight end in the world. Now, where is he this week? On Saber Sims, before I change it, he's the tight end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he went from being on the tight end 1 unanimous. And then last week, I bet he was still pretty high, had a dud, and now he's tight end 9. Is that where his upside is? Is his upside is Isaiah Likely's upside tight end 9 tomorrow? I think his upside is tight end 1, and we know it, right? Like we've already seen it once this year out of 2 games. So I'm massively over the field on Likely. I have a rule, only one of Likely or Andrews, obviously, because I do think, yes, they will run 30% 2 tight end sets. It's theoretically possible they both get there, but I don't want that situation. I think Dallas has to make a choice. They're not good enough defensively, and they can shut one of them down. And it's probably better to shut Mark Andrews down. / I hope they do, but they're about the same price these days too. So you're not gaining like it's not like a huge value play. You do have value play tight ends you can go to, and the one in particular that I've boosted down here is Eric Saubert. He's going to be running the George Kittle routes, and if we're being honest, this is just I don't think George Kittle's that good anymore. Like bet. I think you could put a slowly moving train in George Kittle's routes and they would catch the passes. We'll find out because that's basically what Eric Saubert is. He's a min price guy, 2,500 though. So I think you want to play a fair amount of that. I think, am I getting to 20? Yeah, 20%. I allowed 25, so didn't quite get to my allowance. Trey McBride, some really good players are very low owned today. Like Sam Laporta, I just assume that's an error ownership. I don't know why are they not going to be throwing it? Yeah, right. I don't get that. It's a high scoring game environment. I don't get it. The tight ends haven't been going off, so I get it from that perspective, but all right. So, okay, you've seen the rules. I've told you my takes. Let's put it all together into the overall, what does it mean for the slate? Also, let me review. This is the result of contest sims. I should say the way I'm doing it now. I am using the beta. I don't like that. I don't want the minimum destination ROI to be negative. That's not awesome. Let me try. If I double, if I go back and forth, can I get positive ROI for, I mean, I do have, it's worse now. Okay, now it's back to regular. Okay. So I am putting a lot of lineups out there. And when you sample 213 lineups and you give them all these constraints, you dip into the slightly negative ROIs. That's fine. Yeah, okay, no, these are all good plays. So the other guys I have changed the projections of. I should say that. I have boosted Achane and Devonta Smith. They are not high enough in SaberSim regularly. I wanted Achane to be almost the #1 running back, and I wanted Devonta Smith to be almost the #1 wide receiver. And then a bunch of these guys I think are also a little bit too low. Ayuk, Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sun God, and Neighbors. Those guys have to be some of the top wide receivers. There's just like they had to be up there right below the very top guys, right? So that's why I put them there because that's just they're that kind of guys. Finally, if you've been following me this week, you know I'm betting a ton of overs on Whittington. Whittington is getting the Puka Nakua slash the Cooper Cup route tree. He's getting like all the best routes in this offense. So, and I mean, I've seen him run he can run the routes capably. He's fun. If you didn't watch preseason, there's one guy who was fun on the Rams, and it was this guy. So, let me just tell you, 30% seems like a lot for a guy you've never heard before, being 6x the field. This is my biggest stand of the day. It's my biggest stand everywhere. I have just a ton of units on this guy tomorrow, like 10 units in gambling. Like not on one bet, right? That's scattered amongst probably what 20 minimum little parlays this way and that with various things at various levels of his ladder. 3.5 receptions, 4.5 receptions, 5.5 receptions. That's what I mean when I say ladder. We've got him for 30 yards, 45 yards, 80 yards, 100 yards. I don't know about that. Whatever rungs there are. Because I mean, I don't know what the upside is for this guy. His upside is the moon. His upside is Cooper Kupp's upside tomorrow. And 4,200. So it's up to you. 30%. I've talked myself into a little bit more, if I'm honest. I don't. He's going to get so many targets, and yeah, I don't see a circumstance where he doesn't get value tomorrow. But and 35%, they're going to be playing from behind. I don't know. I might allow even more than 35%. I might let him go up to 40%. I wanted to be one of my highest plays in every because he's just not going to kill you that much, even if he doesn't, even if he throws up a dud, right? At 4,200, what? He throws up, what, 4 catches for 40 yards? You're not dead yet. I mean, like, you're not doing great, but I mean, anyway. So I think his upside is 20 plus, maybe. I don't know if he catches a touchdown or something. I think he could get 20 without scoring a touchdown tomorrow. I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be 1.5% owned. I think he's going to be 4. I think people are just nuts over this guy. So I'm fine with fading that. Juwan Jennings is another guy who I've boosted down here. And I've massively nerfed Tyreek Hill because this happened last year, right? Like, yeah, Tua got a concussion last year. We can go look at it. It wasn't good for the receivers. Oh, this was my point here. I brought up this page because Joe Mixon was running last week when they were up 9. You know what I mean? They are going to be up 2 in this game, and when they were up 1 possession, that was not Joe Mixon, or that was not what's his name, Cam Akers time, right? That was Dare Ogunbowale time. So, and in particular, third downs, passing situations, not Cam Akers time, not Cam Akers time. That's Dare time. Dare's, I mean, you saw he already got 2 targets with Joe Mixon out there. Going to continue to he's going to get those targets. You know what I mean? That's in an offense with a bunch of guys. I think in a passing offense, that could be a really fun situation tomorrow. You get Dare out there, get him 6, 7, 8 targets out of the backfield, weird ass screen check downs. Like he's the last lever when Stroud looks at those first 3 guys, those guys are great. They're all covered. Who's not covered? Out of the backfield, Dare for another 10 yards. Oh, haha. And it happens 20 times because how are you going to, how? Like, right? I mean, you think about it. I don't know how to define how are you going to get a defense is going to stop Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and anybody. That's like it's Schultz, whatever. I mean, but like those 3 guys are a lot of guys already to cover, man. You need like 2 people for each of them. That's 6 guys. You got 5 left to get to the quarterback and guard the tight end and guard somebody out of the backfield. You know what I mean? Houston's a problem, man. And so I don't buy I guess, yeah, it's probably a fair line. I want Dare to play even from ahead. Okay, I was gearing up to look for something, though. What was the thing I was looking for? I was gearing up to look for Marvin Harrison Jr. or something. Juwan Jennings, no. Oh, last year Tua. Right. So 2023, Miami Dolphins stats. Um, let's do staff counts because then we'll be able to find the weeks where he didn't play. So Tua was out. They didn't play at all in week 10. He didn't miss anything last year. What am I thinking of then? I thought he got injured. Was that 2 years ago? I thought I remembered Skylar games. Yeah, okay. There was a Skylar game in 2022, a few Skylar games. Okay, so we got three Skylar games. We got this one in which Tyreek Hill. So, okay. Week 5, 18 and 19. So the last two games. Oh, wow. Tyreek 66% in one of these. He might not have been full go. But in the last week of 2022, we would have one to look at. So let's look at it. NFL, Miami. Oh, God. Just let me click on it. What is happening? I'll click on the Dolphins. Jeez. Then I go to 2022 somehow. Schedule. Year 2022. Last game. Versus New York. Now, last game, win 11-6. Oh, gross. So gross, dude. 11-6. These are our concerns, dude. These are our concerns. I just do not believe in Skylar Thompson, friends. And if you do, you are welcome to play Tyreek Hill tomorrow. However, for me, he is an absolutely full cross off. No can do. Wait, what happened? I was trying to look at this last game and it skipped to the. It's just telling me about the Jets now. I just wanted to look at this game. Click. Jets Dolphins. Yeah. Box score. How many yards did Tyreek Hill? 2 catches for 23 yards. Your top receiver for Miami, Mike Gesicki. I'm just saying, man, I'm not going there tomorrow. I have nerfed Tyreek significantly. I don't think this is particularly different from what you will see tomorrow. Um, Skylar's not good. He's not a good quarterback. That's what I remember. All right, what were the other season? Like, so there was one other week we could look at earlier, week 5. So maybe if I go to week 5, maybe he wasn't garbage then. I kind of remember that he was, but let's go back to week 5. Well, now this is the exact same opponent, so that's a little bit frustrating that it's not really a good sample. But they lost 40-17. And I will say I do see Tyreek Hill going for 7 receptions for 47 yards. It's not good, guys. It's not good. Gesicki again at the top of the list. So I guess, I mean, really, I got to go look at what am I projecting for Miami tight ends right now? Because this dude does throw to his tight ends. Yeah, we got to put Jonnu back in the mix. So Jonnu's definitely in play. Let's bump him up. I have a filter on ownership. Everybody has to be over 1% owned, so that's why I've changed ownership on a lot of people to 1.1%. Thought it was brighter in here when I started. I guess it's gotten dark. Sorry about the weirdness that is. But all those Gesicki games averaged like 6. So let's get him in here at 6, and let's not do a lot of that. Let's do like a minimal amount of that long term. But John is definitely in play. Like he's fine. Just because I don't think Skylar can throw the ball to the big guys. I think he's going to do a lot of check down stuff if he does it at all. Waddle, Hill, don't do it. I don't. The upside's gone. Like, and the draft, their cost is the same. Like the DraftKings price doesn't know that Skylar's there. DraftKings it's still 8,400 for Tyreek. We get down to like 7,500, 7K for Tyreek, and maybe we're looking at him again. But like, it's a package deal, man, and the package is broken. The package is busted. You don't want Tyreek anymore. Okay, I don't need to tell you that. But you do want Achane because same exact thing. I mean, that's the whole game now for them. Okay, so all right, leverage plays. Make sure I've told you all. Yep. Yep. That's all of exactly what I would expect it to be. Plus Jackson Smith and Jigba, which is just like that play. It's fine. He's slightly overpriced in a wonderful game environment. Which what could you possibly want more than that? Charbonnet, love it. Love Charbonnet this week. High scoring game environment. Probably playing from ahead on that side. I, it's a fun one. Okay. Yeah. Even at almost no ownership, still Dare, my leverage, or even playing him on only 2.8% of lineups, still one of my higher leverage plays, I guess. Okay, I'm getting down into the not very high leverage, but yeah, I'm happy with all these leverage plays. Now I'm happy with all my fades. Let's talk about that. Think about that for a second. Don't love it. Don't love fading Brock Bowers. Don't have any reason for it. Don't really. So here's why I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change it because I don't think that Las Vegas is going to be throwing the ball that much against Carolina. Carolina is bad. It pains me to say it. I am a Panthers fan at my heart, and they're really bad. They're atrociously bad, and there's no way they're ahead in this game at any point. And so I mean maybe Brock Bowers catches the first touchdown, but if he doesn't, he's going to get phased out of the game. I mean, just like they're not going to be passing the ball. It's going to be what the Raiders like to do. Zamir White. That's why you know what? Zamir White's got to be, even though they've got a little bit of a timeshare thing going on there, I got to have a little bit this week just because that Carolina's so bad. Okay, who else is down here at the bottom? Colby Parkinson. Don't understand what you guys are doing there. He's not Cooper Kupp. Are you confused? Like that happened the other week too with like Goddard when the first time AJ Brown was out. Remember we were looking at the showdown and like all of the passes were projected to go to Goddard, and it's like no, they're not. They don't. He's not got the same route tree, guys. That's not how that works at all. So totally fine with all this. Obviously, Cam Akers is going to be one of my lowest played things the way I've done it. Olave and Lamb, those are just not things I'm targeting. Like game sides of those games. Like I'm way on the Kamara side of that game. I'm not. I don't need to be on the Olave side of that game. Um, Plus, I like Shahid's upside, so I probably would wind up more on that than Olave at full price. With I don't know, I'm not big into that. CD's price is just massive. Now he still has upside, but if you're trying to win a GPP, I can see more ways to get there fading CD Lamb at 20% than getting there with CD Lamb at 20%. Now, individual ownership, I say it a lot, doesn't matter, but at the same time, if your guy mega smashes so yeah, it doesn't matter, but think about what happens when your guy does mega smash, right? At 20%, he's just like a skeleton key, but you've got to have more like teeth on the key to win, right? At 2%, he's not just a tooth, right? He's the whole dagger, right? Nobody has it. If he goes for 40 at 2%, you don't have to check and see like, oh, who else has him? Nobody relevant has him at 2%, right? So just to think about it, like that's individual ownership doesn't matter except for when somebody is a slate breaker. And then it either you have to make sure you have a defensive amount of a mega like so okay, who of these on my mega high leverage negative leverage could break the slate? I don't think Cam Akers, even if he has a great game, is a slate breaking upside guy at 20%. Bucks defense. Oh, I didn't do that. Yeah. So sorry, I'll do this on camera. I normally limit my defenses. I'll show you how I do it. Top projected defenses. Okay. Anyone that is not projected to be top scoring, but is projected to be top owned is immediately out. So no, I generally don't do any defenses that are close to 10%. And I don't do any generally that are down here in the bottom of projections because I don't want to lose. Also, yeah, I just don't think these are good teams to play. Well, there are plenty of unowned, pretty good defenses out there. Just play those ones. You know what I mean? And then sometimes, like last week, my defense scored 2 touchdowns. I almost freaking took down. And that's what you want, right? I mean, like if the Browns and Raiders score touchdowns, that's great. Still, how are the Raiders 6%? You know what I mean? Like, don't do whatever this weird thing is with the Titans. I don't know what. Don't do not condense your. We all agree, right? if you have a frustration about what's going on with defenses in fantasy sports, it's that they're random, right? So don't play the high owned defenses. It's so random, right? So that's my whole spiel here. Play the ones that are highly projected and low owned. So I'm gonna have to obviously rebuild. This was a massive constraint that I forgot to build in. And I might pick a couple more of these mid. Yeah, I'll put the Eagles in here at 1.5%. That's fine. But yeah, so aside from that, I think I've said all the stuff I got to say. I've given you my spiels. You've heard my general yammerings, my leans this way and that. Oh yeah. My high leverage and low leverage, everything's gonna be messed up because the defenses, now that I've noticed that, I don't really like being under the field on Jake Ferguson. That's just like happened, as a result of my weird tight end plays. So that's how I'm gonna be under the field on a lot of tight end plays. I don't care. You choose different ones. Tight end's stupid. And like some people feel that way about defenses, but for me this year, good luck with your tight ends. There's only one that like is good. And so hopefully he catches the passes again this week because I'm gonna have a lot of Isaiah Likely. Actually, where am I? He wasn't on the list of my high leverage, was he? Yeah, okay, there he is. Pretty high up there. 20%. Yeah, okay. That's all I need. I just need to make sure that if Isaiah Likely smashes tomorrow, I win money because I told you so at least, but I don't want to just be telling you so. I want to be winning the money. So yeah, I did I put that in the chat? No, I texted it to my brother. But I looked it up at what is it? It's some ridiculous amount. I'll just say it on the stream. Oh, I didn't even. Oh yeah, so tomorrow I have 16 open bets, a total of 7, 8, almost 8 units with an upside of $36,000. So I'm playing wild parlays only tomorrow. All of these angles that you have heard me discuss here on the stream. Before I talk to you about them on the stream, I was betting the ladder associated with that weird thing you heard me say. So if you liked it, you can go do it at a slightly lower, I've noticed Whittington in particular has gone down. Initially, I was getting his over 6.5 catches at like 8x. Now you can get it at 6.5x. It's like a good amount of closing line value, which is not a real thing. But nonetheless, I will be happy about it. It was the right thing to do at the time. That's what this shows you. It's possible I'll allow myself to go a little bit higher on Mason and or Charbonnet. I feel more strongly about them than I do pretty much any of these other plays, except for Whittington, who I feel strongly about. So let's just do it. If you were a crazy person, you would do what? You would do it like this. These are the teams that, number one, maybe I haven't stressed it enough. I was pretty restrictive with my running back room. So for a 150, this was pretty restrictive for me. I mean, I had 200, however many lineups this is. What is it? 213. So for 213 lineups, I'm only allowing 20 running backs. And with my rules and stuff, you have to choose one out of 3 different sets. So 17 running backs. That's not a lot for me. Normally I'm a little bit more than that. So yeah, I don't honestly, if I'm kicking people out, I'm kicking out Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm kicking out Zamir White, I'm kicking out people who are in timeshares, right? And Tony Pollard, if Tyjae Spears is active, but I saw that he was questionable. Anyway, I'm not sure you need anybody who isn't a bell cow back. We've got so many good bell cow backs. Kamara, Mason, Charbonnet, Achane, Jacobs, Barkley, Kyren Williams, JT. Those guys. Those guys are great. You don't need to play anybody but them. If you're running 20, X out all these next 10 or whatever I just said. All the other fun plays down here that I said, oh yeah, I don't think I even mentioned, I did Jerome Ford and Deontay Foreman, I think are a 1 of 2. I agree. I kind of like Ford being a little higher upside. He's a little bit explosive. I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity, and I don't want him to be more than Dare. I do. I like Ford a little bit better than Donta. Donta's not as explosive, but more likely to get goal line work, whatever. You see, I have not put Swift or Chuba in here. It's just I don't think they get opportunity situation. Like I don't know. They're fine if you get there. All right. That's all I got to say. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us, and that's $1 million, guys. That could, hey, pay for a few slates of DFS.